You don't announce it. You don't post it. You don't even always think it in words. It's just a reflex that lives in your nervous system. Someone offers help, and something in you tightens, like a muscle bracing for impact. Someone gets close, and you feel the air change, like the room is suddenly too small. Someone asks, "Are you okay?" And you answer, "Yeah, I'm fine," not because you're lying, but because your body doesn't recognize being held as a safe experience. So you build a life that doesn't require anyone. You learn to carry everything yourself. You become your own therapist, your own parent, your own emergency contact. You're the one who figures it out, fixes it, handles it, moves on. And to everyone watching, you look strong. But strength isn't always strength. Sometimes "I don't need anyone" is just a sentence you built like a bunker. A fortress made of competence. A home where nothing can break in. Because nothing can get in. And here's the paradox. The thing that saved you is now the thing sabotaging you. Your independence kept you safe when dependence was dangerous. When asking meant being dismissed. When needing meant being punished. When vulnerability meant being used. But now, that same independence doesn't just protect you from pain, it protects you from love. From softness, from the kind of intimacy that would actually heal you. Because if you never need anyone, you never have to risk being disappointed. If you never reach out, nobody can let you down. If you never lean, you never feel what it's like when someone doesn't catch you. So you become incredibly good at one thing: surviving without support. And at first, that skill feels like power. Because power is what you build when you can't rely on love. You learn to be efficient with your emotions. To swallow them before they make noise. To solve problems before anyone sees you struggling. You become the person who handles it. Who handles it, the person who doesn't ask twice. The person who shows up no matter what. And people respect you for it. But there's a hidden cost. Because the more you prove you don't need anyone, the more your nervous system stops expecting anyone. And soon, independence isn't a choice. It's an automatic reflex. You don't reach out when you're overwhelmed. You don't share when you're hurting. You don't admit you miss someone until it's too late. Not because you don't feel it, but because feeling it is dangerous. Because somewhere deep inside you, needing equals disappointment. So you build a life that looks stable, but it's built on one rule: never be a burden. And that rule turns into a quiet kind of loneliness. Not the loneliness of being alone. The loneliness of being unseen. Because you can be surrounded by people and still feel like you're carrying your life in your own hands. That's when you start calling it preference. I like being alone. I'm low maintenance. I just don't need much. But listen closely. If you truly didn't need much, you wouldn't have to keep reminding yourself. What you're calling independence is often avoidant attachment. Not, I don't want connection, but connection doesn't feel safe. Because when closeness was unpredictable, distance became your control. So you don't relax into people, you monitor them. You read the room, you read the tone, you read the micro shifts in their face. You become excellent at predicting disappointment, and that's why kindness can feel suspicious. A compliment feels like a setup. A gift feels like a contract. Help feels like a future debt. So you say, I'm fine. And you mean, I don't know how to receive you. A lot of this starts earlier than you think. Sometimes you were parentified. You weren't just a kid, you were the stabilizer, the peacemaker, the one who managed moods and tension so the house wouldn't collapse. So you learned, if I don't hold it together, no one will. And you carry that into adulthood. You overfunction. You take responsibility for things that aren't yours. You keep your standards high. Because chaos feels like danger. And you get praised for being strong. While inside you're tired. Not tired from work. Tired from always being the one who carries. And when life finally gets quiet, that's when it gets harder. Because calm invites feeling, and feeling invites need, and need is the language you trained yourself to forget. So you stay busy, you stay productive, you stay in control, you stay slightly distant. Because distance feels safer than hope. But the real tragedy of hyperinterdependence is not that you're alone. It's that you become unreachable, even to the people who would actually show up. You let people into your life, but not into your inner world. You share updates, not truth. You share thoughts, not vulnerability. You share competence, not need. And that creates a very specific kind of grief. Not grief for a person, but grief for a version of you. The version that could rest without guilt. The version that could ask without shame. The version that could be held without bracing. So what do you do with this? You don't fix it by forcing yourself to be dependent. You heal it by learning interdependence. The ability to stand on your own and still allow support to land. And that begins with one shift. Stop calling the armor your identity. Start calling it what it is: a survival strategy. A brilliant adaptation, a part of you that learned to stay safe. So when the reflex shows up, when you want to withdraw, when you want to handle it alone, when you want to minimize what you feel, don't shame it. Notice it. Name it. This is the part of me that survived. This is the part of me that expects disappointment. This is the part of me that learned not to ask. That guarded part of you doesn't have to live inside the armor anymore. It can simply stand beside you. Your armor kept you alive, but it was never your skin and never your identity. Healing isn't about becoming dependent. It's about learning interdependence instead of lonely self-reliance. Dependence says, I can't function without you. Hyper-independence says, I refuse to need anyone. Interdependence says, I can stand on my own and still choose to lean when it matters. That's the direction here, not being fixed, but becoming more whole. First, inner child reparenting, a real corrective experience, not a cliche. Meeting the part of you that learned to be low need, easy, invisible, just to keep other people calm. Instead of demanding more from that part, you offer what it never had: protection, warmth, permission to exist. Validation without conditions, comfort without punishment, presence without chaos. Second, somatic safety, teaching your body that some closeness can actually be safe now. Noticing when your chest tightens, when your shoulders brace, when your whole system wants to run. Gently grounding in the present, letting small moments of care land without immediately escaping. You're not forcing vulnerability. You're retraining a nervous system that still believes safety is temporary. Third, shadow work, seeing that your shadow often hides your need, not just your darkness, your tenderness, your wish to be chosen, your longing to be held. Instead of exiling those parts, you begin treating them as proof of your humanity, not evidence of weakness. Fourth, choosing softness on purpose, courage without armor. It sounds like one honest sentence instead of disappearing. I could use support. I'm not okay. I don't want to carry this alone. Fifth, letting people earn access. You don't owe everyone your vulnerability, but you owe yourself a chance to feel safe with someone. So you choose people who are consistent, who repair when they misstep, who don't punish you for having needs. You practice trust the way you practice strength, not all at once, but in many small, gradual repetitions. Healing isn't about trusting everyone. It's about discovering that safe connection can actually be real. Your independence was heroic and intelligent, but you were never meant to carry everything forever by yourself. So if I don't need anyone has been your rule, try this instead, just for today. I don't have to carry this alone to be safe.